season, or will they continue their reign of terror over their region? Team Secret will ban first. G2 usually will ban Lion as their main go-to. Secret will likely know this in anticipatory fashion, probably ban another operator, and they'll go with Glaz, an operator that usually falls into the hands of Jonas on G2. Not really much of a surprise there.
No, it's a smart ban for sure from Team Secret, and there goes Lion. So, predictions bearing fruit there. Lion, of course, being banned by G2 at every possible opportunity. And if you look back at the G2 history, we've seen some pretty big upsets to their playstyle at the hands of an operator like Lion. Clash also being gone, we've seen a number of G2 players be vocal about Clash's position right now in the game.
Showing some disdain for the operator on Twitter in particular, and on personal streams about her effectiveness as a defender and
Very
what
powerful.
exactly she brings to the team, and the way that teams can really use it. As you find yourselves with G2, who are so good at establishing crossfires, that can be disrupted by having a shield in play, either on attack or defense.
We saw it in the previous match. I mean, the way that Millennium used Clash while defending Aviator specifically, just denying a plant of the Thermite charge outright. It was so versatile, and now it will not be played in this matchup. So G2 getting rid of what they just don't want to deal with. I think those are smart operator bans for them.
The versatility of G2 coming prominently as Dokkaebi will move over to Monte, and that will be Pengu rocking the shield. We've seen G2 run Monty quite a fair bit. It'll be interesting to see how it shakes out here. First sight for Secret is going to be upstairs inside of Statue and Trophy. A sight that we just saw in our exciting conclusion of the Millennium and Vitality matchup. And it looks like we might actually see a lot of similarities being brought. Blackie on the Frost with a castle in play. We could see Secret running a very similar strategy, and would you look at that, Meepy setting up at least one castle barricade, that would suggest that might be a bit likely to happen.
Not exactly the same lineup, not the rather setup, but very similar. And you still have that rotation from Master to Statuary, although it is a little bit safer backed into the A site. Not exposed to the Master window quite as much. Now, G2 setting themselves up to clear from the south forward, and this again is a common strategy. Or it's been established as common in the very little time we've managed to see Villa be played in Pro League, as it allows you to clear out the roamers before pressuring the site. So you don't have to worry about late flanks happening. Or at least not nearly as much as if you just pushed into the site from Master. Pengu going to be triggering a Grzmat there from Steezy, but no follow-up because it is a shield. Kenturketty narrowly missing a shot there onto the sister operator of the Ela, who will then proceed to fall back, feeling that pressure from G2.
I mean, that was a really odd choice for Steezy to even bother to peek that and give his position away. I mean,
Agreed.
Unless they didn't know that it was a shield, but you can usually hear a Montaigne coming from a mile away as his shield sound is pretty distinct. Steezy, who's retreated all the way back to over towards Trophy, and can see that he will find Pengu and they will stare each other down, but Pengu will just continue to trudge along. Now he'll head over towards A, and a big rotate here from the Montaigne to destroy the barbed wire and maybe free up his entry just a bit. First kill's going to go on to Meepy. The castle will get shredded by Fabian, G2's IGL and captain, as Pengu is in sight right now, sitting inside of A with his shield fully extended.
Yeah, you could detect that Montaigne from a mile away, but equally he can make his mile cover so quickly, and he's done that. Goga gets a double kill on Lackey and Steezy, just covering the rotation from the B bomb site. Lems will finally shut him down, but the diffuser's been planted, so it might all be for naught. Leon manages to get Fabian, the player playing it by the master windows, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna matter. And G2 will take the very first round with seeming ease, to be honest.
Yeah, they just waltzed right through every single thing that Secret had set up, and I think a big part of it was that G2 just pushed them back deep into the site and then fed off of that.
You know, a lot of that for me was Pengu playing on that Montaigne. All of the roamer presence that Secret was trying to put out, which was very light, to be honest. That was, of course, just easy on the Ela playing inside of Aviator. All of that roamer presence was nullified almost just instantly. You're pushing through a study, and it never stopped. That push never stopped. It was ruthlessly efficient. And then from there was nothing else going on from Secret. They had no other dimensions to that hold. So it was a very easy push in and plant. They didn't even need to use the smokes they had.
Yeah. Very surprising, to say the least. And I think for Secret, they realize that this is a situation where you can't go back to Aviator Games. You're going to head downstairs.
I also like how G2 stuck pins and needles in the rotations of Team Secret. You saw Goga, of course, playing the long angle from the hallway into B, cutting off that entire rotation. That's a whole part of the crossfire that Secret was unable to use. Meanwhile, Fabian, by himself on the master balcony, doing so much damage and applying so much pressure, cutting off the rotation in the pre-made rotation hole that Secret had set up between Master and Statuary. Overall, just a great attack strategy.
And I like that the Frost was brought out as one of the main trap operators, but now you bring in this Kapkan here suggests that Secret not very comfortable with the pace that was set by their opponents.
What?
One of the castle barricades will just go off, and Fabian realizing that we can try and use the exothermic charge, showing that utility is not always as important. And Goga and Pengu just now inside a kitchen. They'll continue to drone away. Lackey playing on this Pulse, an operator that we see Lackey running routinely just to try to give his team the upper hand in terms of movement of the attackers. He's deep downstairs and disconnected from the rest of his team. Cardiac sensor away as he's just going to continue to try to find somebody. The first one will be found, though, and it'll be Jonas getting spotted by Steezy, and that's the Kapkan picking up kill number 1. It's pretty good for G2 to be able to take the buck out and take the only set of frag grenades from G2 off the board. Sounds weird to say that given that there's an IQ, but IQ, of course, lost her frags just a couple months ago.
It does still feel odd, though, doesn't it? So, second exothermic charge onto one of the, I believe, the site walls. Yes, indeed, will allow for a potential plant for Pengu as he's just inching his way in here. Actually, Secret doesn't have anything in a position to deny the plant immediately. I mean, Alems could sprint to shoot Pengu as he goes for this, but there's tons of cover from G2. As you can see, Fabian holding the angle, though ineffective, as Leon from the hallway will get Pengu and Fabian both. So another one for Steezy as well, leaving Goga now the final attacker. Now the diffuser's been planted, but I don't think Secret's going to let this one slip away. A great collapse from the defense of Secret. And G2, while they managed to isolate the default plant spot, they were unable to hold it in the post plant because it was just right timing from Secret. I think a big part of that was, if I'm not mistaken, Leon dropped from above, inserting himself into that attack strategy surgically, and there was no way for G2 to really stop that.
No, I mean, there was nobody on flank watch whatsoever. The Zofia of, I believe it was Kanto Raketti, sitting on drone at the time, or possibly even just prone, looking the wrong way, caused G2 to just have zero flank watch, and Fabian was the first one that got tackled to the ground by Leon. And then, I mean, Steezy was credited with the kill on Pengu, but in all reality, it was Leon who did most of the work there. At the start of this matchup, Fabian saying that if Leon Gids gets 25 kills in this match, that Fabian will take him on a nice McDonald's date in Montreal. Now, of course, G2 is qualified for the Invitationals, which, by the way, tickets are currently on sale if you'd like to go and purchase them. But Secret has not yet secured their spot in Montreal. So 25 kills on the table for Leon in order to get a McDonald's date with none other than Fabian.
That's a lot. That's a lot of kills, though.
You know, funny enough, I had a McDonald's date with Fabian in Sao Paulo.
Nice. Was it pleasant? Was he good too?
Well, I mean, there was a McDonald's right next to the hotel, and it was late.
Did he pay?
No.
You split the bill?
No, I mean, well, it wasn't a date. It was more like all of, at the time they were
You used the word date.
Well, because he and I sat next to each other when we had McDonald's.
Okay.
It was nice. It was a nice moment.
That sounds cute.
Leon, maybe you too can be lucky one day to dine in the company of none other than the greatest player that has ever played Rainbow Six, Pengu. So, until that happens,
well,
Secret will now go back upstairs. They'll go to Aviator, though, this time. They won't opt for Trophy and Statuary. They'll go with something a bit more routine. Of course, a bit of a strange day as Mira has been unbanned on both villas so far, instead teams opting for their more comfort bans. Of course, with Clash being banned out by G2, I would imagine that we're going to see Clash in line. Probably be G2's bans every single time, let's be honest with each other. And then as for Secret, the Echo ban. Makes a lot of sense to try and take some of the gusto away from Goga, who has clutched so many times on the Japanese operator.
Yep, Goga, definitely one of those heavy clutch operators as an individual. But here we go. The round starting out, and Pengu's still playing on Montaigne. We've seen him be such a powerful force on Montaigne many times in the past. And on a map like Villa, I think he's definitely going to be a welcome piece of utility, and that he can just push anything whenever he wants. It is definitely, on this map of all maps, an extremely powerful piece to have on your board.
There's also a 6th pick that came into effect here as Pengu looked like he was going to be going the Dokkaebi. Leon Gids, going to be a little bit harder to hit that 25 kill limit when Fabian is there to just splatter him against the wall. The Bandit is down. There will be no flank opportunity this time. Good coverage from Fabian as Jonas unabated downstairs, tearing away at the roof above him just to try to cause as much pain and restlessness as possible onto Secret, employing that skeleton key on the soft destructible floor. He's joined by none other than Kanto Raketti, and they will find a target and get a very good down. But Steezy is there to try and keep Meepy from falling prey to Jonas, who's taken a lot of damage. Keep in mind, the lack of point notifiers will mean that they maybe don't know that they've downed Meepy. A bit of a moot point as he's been picked back up, and Kanto, who's rotated, will find Lackey, so another kill will come in favor of G2. They've been doing so well. The castle spotted out, and Meepy, who was downed, will just sit and wait as he stares off against the Montaigne.
Yeah, Pengu just gonna, well, do just that. Stare at his opponents, but he has all 3 in his sights. And as Alems gets Fabian, the information is still abundant for G2. They know one's on 90, one's on bar, and the other's playing billiards, which means the B site is left undefended. You can see Kanto Raketti is rotating as a result to the middle stairs to try and exploit that weakness in the defense from Secret, though it has been shored up. Lots of rotation from Secret's defense to try and hold all these different angles. Alems will get Kanto Raketti as he is off by his own. There is no refrag. Steezy will get Goga. The Montaigne unable to cover, and Meepy also gets Pengu. It's just a complete shutout here for Secret. Despite all the information that G2 had in their favor, the gunfight's just going the way of the defense.
What a sloppy execute from G2 there, and really just not the level of play that we've come to expect from them. A couple things that happened. First and foremost, they knew they had the Jaeger at the end under 90. That was where Kanto was positioned on the other stairwell. And a great pinch opportunity as Goga saw the Jaeger peek around the corner, Pengu in front of him. A perfect opportunity to push together and get an easy kill on the Jaeger. But instead, Kanto looked to the left. Instead of possibly pressuring the Jaeger, he looked the other way. And then he ended up losing his life to it. The rest of G2 at that point just tried to go in through the open doorway, and they all just got gunned down.
I gotta imagine the reason Kanto was looking to the left there is he was thinking about the possibility of pushing his way into the B bomb site, trying to, again, exploit that weakness as I talked about earlier. But you know where all 3 of your opponents are. You should be accounting for the potential of someone, or the Jaeger specifically, who was under 90, to be pushing into you. I mean, he was up against a wall, that Montaigne in the hallway. He couldn't do anything on the other end of the hall, so he had but one option. Well, push your angle. So yeah, definitely a misplay and a miscommunication, I think, for G2, allowing that all to fall apart. But also a great defense for Secret, and their versatility shining through in that they had their positions all called out and still managed to make the round go in their favor.
I mean, and then you have Pengu also go in as the Montaigne instead of trying to do work, taking matters into his own hands, realizing that, you know, he's, well, time is running out. Good chance for you to go in and maybe try to get a kill or two, but just, man, all in vain. So a good opportunity for G2 to take the round. Started out promising, but Secret a great bounce back and trying to keep this thing close as you now head into round number 4. Downstairs for Secret. They're not going to go upstairs back to Trophy and Statuary. They've won both Library and Living Room as well as Aviator, so it's a kitchen defense, meaning that Secret is now going to have done what Millennium did in the last round or in the last matchup, which is go to every single site. We'll see what versatility Secret can bring.
Yeah, kitchen, definitely one of those sites that sees mixed success from most teams. And we saw in the previous match that very same thing shine through. One successful hold and one unsuccessful hold from different squads. Vitality could not make it work, but Millennium could. And Pengu continuing to hammer away at this Montaigne. You know, it does hinder his frag potential quite a lot, but it gives so much to the rest of his team. And that's just him proving his versatility as a player. Now, he has eaten a lot of damage already from some unknown source, but he's going to allow for this push from Goga to work out. Fabian will also get Leon before finishing off Meepy. Now, Leon got the pushing Goga, and Lackey's going to also take out Jonas, but the call has been made, and Fabian a great rotation to get the refrag. That's 3 for him in the round, though technically he only finished off one of his enemies. Steezy and Lackey now the last 2 defenders for Secret, and Lackey's going to be able to get Pengu. That's the shield gone, but Fabian going for a 4th, and he will get it. Putting this into a one-on-one, it's Cantor Ketty versus Lackey. 2 highly skilled players, both on full HP, and with still plenty of time, that's going to make this a slow roll. You can see Kanto gauging his options, and a nice shot from Cantor Ketty. G2 take the round. A 4K for Fabian, and just the final for Kanto himself. Putting them up to 2-2 now.
Putting Pengu on the shield has forced a couple role swaps for G2 as well, putting Fabian on a Goga's role as planter as well as the Thermite, and then putting Goga back onto a fragging role. And I mean, it's all working out for the time being. You know, they are very insistent on getting this shield to work. And I like the way that Secret is trying to adapt to play around it. That's why Secret is playing so far back, and we've seen that they've been fighting largely from a retake potential. They've had very aggressive roam games to try to draw out the rest of G2 based around Pengu, who's likely going to be the main focal point. And I mean, Monty is going to draw not just your fire, but also your eyes. That's part of what he does. Very similar to a Clash. But in addition to that, you see that Secret is keeping a lot of bodies very far off site. Very, very far off site. We noticed it on the living room library defense downstairs. As you mentioned, the only person on site was a Lems. That was it. There was only the Jaeger on site. All the rest of the team was playing loosely around it to try and go for a retake, and I think that that's good. You give the wide berth to the shield operator. Team Secret is probably one of the smartest teams in the entire world in terms of how they approach other teams. They're very meticulous with their counter-stratting. So it doesn't surprise me that they are playing a bit more aggressive on the entry and then very passive through the mid-round and towards the execute to try and draw G2 in. I mean, it worked once, but since then it's just been a coin flip for the rest of the round. One of these teams is going to walk away with the first half victory, as we're all tied up at 2 apiece heading into this final round, and back upstairs we will go. So my apologies. No, we're actually downstairs back in the living room.
Well,
just a bit of perspective there.
Technically, there is still a basement, so in a way...
It is upstairs if you were in the basement.
In a way, this could be considered upstairs.
My eyes deceive me. I thought the silhouettes were above it.
Yeah, it happens. Now, this defense was successful for Secret last time they went here. That was the second round. They managed to make it work. G2 tried to isolate one of the bomb sites and plant, but Leon with some great timing, and yet again, Leon with some excellent timing, will throw a wrench in those plans. Jonas goes down to an easy master peak, and Leon's just going to walk away from that victorious.
That's a freebie if you've ever seen one. And now a Lems taking out Goga, the bandit of Steezy, getting very close to losing his head to Fabian, maybe trying to draw him out. Lackey a C4, and what is with the timing of these rounds? Jeez. 3 deaths from G2 as Secret able to get everybody but Fabian and Kanto Raketti. Now, one thing to keep in mind about G2 is you can never count them out in their matchup against Evil Geniuses in Paris. They would repeatedly be in 2v4s or 1v3s and still walk away with the round victory. We'll see if Secret is able to be the team to have that staying power.
And Fabian and Kanto did get both or all of the kills between them in the previous round. Fabian's going to be shut down, though, by Leon. It seems like he did detonate his charge, but it's probably going to be shot by Leon as well, leaving Cantor Ketty in a 1 versus 5. He's done this before. He could do it again, but it's going to be a pretty tall task against the likes of Secret. And they seem to be absolutely on fire right now. Now, both the German defensive operators have been put to 50 or thereabouts HP, so that's going to be a slight edge for Kanto if he should get into an engagement with any of them. However, he's still got 3 full HP defenders aside from that to deal with. He's got to check every single angle as he pushes along, likely giving away his position by shooting there. You can see that the defense is starting to address him accordingly, holding the angles, waiting for the push. Cantor Kitty slowly peeking into the hallway. He does not check the angle fully, though, and Leon will get yet another kill. And Secret will end the half 3-2 in their favor.
And no 6-2 for G2 either.
Yeah.
So even if G2 walks away with this win, there will be no 6-2.
No 6-2 G2. So Secret have broken away from that curse. They did get 6-2 last time they played against G2. And G2, on the other hand, are going to have to fight tooth and nail to get this win. Although I will say this, the defense seems to be heavily favored on Villa. And we've seen this happen many times before. Usually when a map is newer to the meta, it's going to favor the defense. Defensive strategies just seem to be the first step to establishing meta on a map, and then you proceed to figure out how to attack those setups. We did see the same be true, actually, in the previous match, the Millennium versus Vitality match. Vitality got 3 defensive rounds, but then when Millennium went to defense on Villa, 4 in a row. So it could be just the map that has allowed Secret to get the 3 rounds. However, Secret is a team that is very formidable, and it is likely that they're going to be able to make attack work for them.
And Secret playing this quite well. I mean, as well as you can expect, they're capitalizing on the entry points that G2 are making. You know, the study play that we just saw of G2 going in through the study as they had just a couple rounds sooner. It wasn't Secret's chance to be able to jump on it. If you remember, that was the time that they had a Lems playing up top as the Ella, or Steezy, I believe it was. Well, they read it right this time, and they were able to get those 3 kills. So now Secret will head to the second half with the lead.
Twitch Drone is well positioned to get both of the mirror windows potentially, though I don't know how influential getting the mirror windows is going to be. The window setup from the defense here from G2 is very interesting. The loss of those windows is just going to mean that there are now more murder holes between the site, which isn't going to be the worst thing ever for G2. They could certainly make that work, though you do still have to give props to Leon for getting both mirror windows in the first 45 seconds.
Yeah, Leon not just going for kills, but also for utility usage here. And then, of course, playing on that on the Twitch, giving him tons of fragging potential. Really angling for that McDonald's date as he takes some damage from and his very first encounter trying to get inside of the building. As well, G2 is Jonas positioned on the stairs. Firmly fortified with the walls around him, so they'll have to push the pulse in order to try to get the kill, as he's just going to continuously be on that cardiac sensor and give the information that he needs. Fabian peeking through the floor, opened up by the Skeleton Key. A buck, a Lems will fall to his own teammate, and a grenade getting tossed out by Meepy, trying to go for an explosion beneath, but cannot get it. So Fabian will walk away from that unscathed. Yurakanto get a couple shots off as well, but nobody on the other side of it. Lackey inside a study along with Leon Gids, as Leon Gids will take even more damage and then get found by Jonas. That was the Pulse who had tagged up. Now Fabian will shred through Lackey, and it's Secret who's going to struggle to get into the building this time.
Yeah. That half transition seemingly so ruthless to the attacking side, no matter who you are. And not a point of damage done to G2 so far in this round after all those engagements transpired. Steezy working his way up the south stairs. He's just going to progress into the hallway. Diffuser has been downed, and it will need to be retrieved. Cantor Getty gets Steezy, so still a perfect round so far for G2. And look at this. Jonas has perfect information on his opponent. And Meepy will get a grenade kill, actually, onto Jonas and down Fabian. This is recoverable for Meepy. It's now a 1 versus 2 as Fabian is on the floor. What has just happened? He's also got a lot of potential here with the Skeleton Key. The one limiting factor is, of course, the time at this point with so little to work with. And his opponent, Fabian, being picked up. It's a nice try for Meepy, but can he really push it far enough to get a 1 versus 5 clutch? Well, the Evil Eyes are gonna make it that much more difficult. He starts getting zapped, and as he goes for the actual door push, he will take out Gogun. Another one onto Fabian, but Pengu is there to lock it out. An incredible try from Meepy. Impactless frags, but still, oh, so close to a clutch.
The dream was there for Meepy, but just couldn't reach it, just out of reach. Pengu, who is in a very quiet game as he's largely just been doing his job supporting, will get the kill that is needed the most in that situation, as the rest of the team will just feed themselves in and give Meepy some impactless frags.
Yeah, I mean, why not? But definitely a nice try for Meepy. You just don't expect to see something like that. Regardless, though, not enough. And here we go. On to Trophy Statuary as the next defense for G2. They're standing in the... Well, they are playing on the much more meta bomb site so far, where we saw Secret do a lot of library defenses. In fact, it was their second site, and it was their final site that they defended, which was actually their most successful also. They also went to Trophy as their first site. We see the typical coming from G2, which is Aviator, Trophy, and then we will likely see Kitchen based on this trend. Fabian, the really standout performer for G2 right now, he's just been fragging out so far in this match.
I mean, I think as you expect from Fabian, I know that there's a lot of jokes about him being, the greatest player in the world, but more than that, he's very good at everything that he does. To pay him the credit that he deserves, he can frag, he can play support roles, he can IGL the team, he can do secondary calls. The whole team behind both G2 and Secret there's a lot of flexibility there. And Secret have continued to evolve and adapt as a team and get very close to greatness, but haven't really been able to realize it when they've often been in the shadow of G2 in their region as a whole. They also had a bit of a disappointing end to their run at DreamHack Montreal, losing out to SK Gaming when I think that they really anticipated going all the way. So, just some drone work downstairs as Secret are going to try to put everything together. And they've used about 30 seconds thus far. Leon Gids playing Dokkaebi. This is going to be an interesting lineup because that Dokkaebi's disruption coupled with the disruption from Zofia could possibly paralyze G2. And G2 hasn't really done so well when under heavy fire from their opponents.
See Secret trying to clear from the bottom up. The collaboration between Meepy and Alems could work out great here. Oh, what a shot for Alems. He eats a lot of damage in the process, but ultimately winning the engagement. Excellent use of his utility there to counter the pulse, and you almost thought he was in the driver's seat, but not so. And that's not only a kill and an advantage for Secret now, but also taking care of that utility that could really hurt the plant potential in the later end of the round.
Yeah, and you can hear that Alems is going to get reset. Good enough time as you've still got 90 seconds to go. Poor Jonas being the opening death for G2 every single round without fail, robbing his team of that utility that a pulse brings now. So that's a very important early frag for Secret. We'll see if they can get another. Fabian's just taking a tiny bit of damage, but Kanto on the roam, ever elusive. He'll punish Lackey and Zofia gone. So long lifelines as well as the explosive capabilities, putting it solely in the hands of Meepy, who had a banner of a round last time on Buck. But can he possibly get those kills a little bit sooner?
Fabian and Goga looking to hold on to Astronomy. Such an important room to maintain control of. You can see Leon setting up his smokes properly to isolate the A bomb site, that statuary, and allow for a diffuse plant. Goga's going to choose to just push on through, though. Persevere. As he peeks the broken mirror window, he misses his shots, and he will miss his C4 as well. That's a little bit of wasted utility, but Cantor Raketti will take out Steezy, and Fabian still has good control over Astronomy, I say, as he dies to Leon peeking from Bathroom. Great positioning there for the Dokkaebi, and the shotgun not going to bear fruit. Leon absolutely on a tear right now as he gets Goga as well. Pengu still inside a statuary, going to eat a few bullets from the side, but still able to play. He is hugging Cantor Raketti right now. Leon has been down, so this is a 2 versus 2. The diffuser's being planted inside a B, but the C4 will deny just that. And it's a Meepy now in a 1 versus 2. Pengu, excellent play in the round, and Cantor Raketti will shut down Meepy, the final attacker. G2 win yet another defense round.
Secret just not having the presence to know that there's going to be somebody pushing in through Statuary. They doubled up inside a trophy, went for the plant while there was no coverage. They just had the body laying flat. I believe it was from Leon, who they downed but not gotten the kill on.
Yes.
So just waiting. I mean, good execute from Secret there, but they come painstakingly close to being able to put it all together. They didn't have anybody watching the push through Statuary. Maybe, I don't know if he had his back turned or he was caught expecting the plant to go down smoothly. Ultimately, Pengu, for the second round in a row, is going to be the person who comes out of absolute nowhere for G2 and manages to hold everything together and batten down the hatches, so to speak, as the wind of Secret blows through the G2 defense.
One thing I do notice is that now that Pengu has been allowed to put his weight back into the team, coming off of the shield operator and going back onto an operator with an actual gun and a presence, I think G2 looks a lot more formidable. Now, the reason that is, I think it has more to do with the fact that they're on defense. Defense Villa seems to be the way right now, and it's gonna cause anyone to struggle. But the reason I reference this is because if you recall, when we saw G2 recently playing on Coastline, and they put Jonas on Clash, he was just not really accomplishing anything. Then as soon as he transitions back to Bandit, and there's another gun on the G2 lineup, as soon as they have those 5 guns, then it's, you know, back to the ruthless and fearsome G2 that we all know. And of course, that match I'm referencing, I believe, was against Millennium on the previous play week on Coastline. Again, they managed to win that 6-2. So, I think G2 as a team does play better when they have 5 guns on the lineup, regardless of whether or not the map is favored to attack or defense, regardless of who those players are in particular. It just seems like it gives them more presence than a shield operator often will. Though I do commend them for bringing the shields, as that is proving their versatility, because they can also make that work.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we've seen G2 win a number of games with shields. You know, I think back to
definitely.
that Oregon against Ents at the Invitational in February, where they were running Fabian on a Montaigne over and over and over again, and just Ents did not seem to have a solution there to it. So, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of things that G2 are capable of doing. You gave them credit earlier on as a team that is very innovative. I think that Millennium and Secret also definitely inhabit that same atmosphere, so to speak, or that same rotation here of teams. Now, Execute is happening, and G2 have had to slink back into the depths of the site. Kanto just waiting if the buck is going to emerge, getting fed information from Jonas, and there you go. But the grenade is going to go off, and a great play on Kanto. Very precise, and Fabian able to land his shots as well onto Leon. That's 2 kills for G2 as the phones ring in the distance.
Lackey, though, pushing onto Fabian, hearing the reload, will get control of at least part of the site. There are still plenty of defenders, though, to meet him, and Gogo will get his teammate Lems, who's trying to back him up. Kanto also from above gets Lackey. Kanto playing a great position upstairs, leaving Steezy in the 1 versus 4. He's going to hear the phone call from his opponent in the stairs just to his left, but he does not account for the angle. It won't matter. Goga peeks around, and Steezy goes down. G2 now on match point.
Excellent play here from G2. Didn't even look like Goga got a shot off there at all as that's diffuser down. I gotta say, these two teams full of pugilists, it's just been a slugfest every single round. Once the gunfire starts, it doesn't really seem to stop. And both teams just trying to punch, counter punch, etc. Ultimately right now, the better hands have been for G2, and they've just been able to hit their marks so well. Every single time there's a read, it looks like G2 is prepared for it. The phone calls go off, they anticipate a push from Secret. Well, what does G2 do? They get in Secret's face. And instead of sitting and waiting to stop the phones, they peek doorways, they peek angles, and they take the fight. Exactly as we saw under the Dokkaebi from Fabian. A great example right there.
For me, that last round really just comes down to Giannis droning out, pulsing, heartbeat detecting the entire attack strategy from the basement. You saw that Secret were stacking up heavy on those stairs, and that ultimately was shut down because of one pulse and all of the information he gave his team. So props to Giannis for that, and good adjustment by G2 to hold it out. I also really like the angle that was being played by Cancer Raketti upstairs through the floor onto those stairs. I didn't even know that was a thing. This is the cool new things that you get to see as pro teams play out on the brand new maps.
So we'll go back up to Aviator for what could be our final round between G2 and Team Secret. It would be a similar scoreline than what we had in Millennium and Vitality. In fact, almost identical.
Yeah, very nearly. Wow, that's crazy.
Only difference was round 1 and round 3. You swap those, and hey, look at that. We're in a very similar situation.
So, G2 setting themselves up inside of the Aviator, and here's the big thing: they've gotten rid of Mira. Didn't work out great for them last time. Makes a whole bunch of sense that they wouldn't bring it again. I honestly, I have to say, the Mira, you know, on certain sites, while she can be so powerful, when you've got a formidable Twitch on the other team, sometimes it's just better not to bring. Leon, of course, is one of those players who, you know, qualifies as formidable Twitch, and often will just, yeah, it's better not to play your Mira against him. So he will eat some damage from Jonas. Great pre-fire through the wall there. Not a headshot, unfortunately, for the Pulse, but still damage done, whether he knows it or not.
Steezy with the tracking Inox equipped. He's going to try to hunt down Jonas, and this is the opportunity for an early pick that could give Secret a huge advantage heading into this round. Alems from below, trying to get towards the rest of his team. Leon will be the very first casualty. Say so long to your Twitch. I mean, there's no mirror on the board, as you rightly pointed out, so those Twitch drones are not exactly as vital as need be, but still, you've got the Jackal track going. Steezy's just crouch walking his entire way through the map, but he'll be stopped for just a second and then miss his shots onto Pengu, who will re-emerge, and both Steezy and Alems are gone to Jonas and Pengu, a 5v2, and G2 just need to hang on for dear lives here as it's 1 minute and 30 seconds left. Wait for the 2 remaining members of Secret to come to you, and then this game is yours, and you will continue your march towards guaranteeing yourself a spot in Rio. Up the stairs creeps Meepy ever so delicately. It's just him and Lackey left, and they are miles off of the site. You can hear a C4 sound like it's getting unsheathed from Pengu as he's just waiting. At least tied it out. So that is just a bit of a graphical bug there.
Yeah, it seems like it's already pre-placed on the wall. So, yeah, interesting. He's not actually doing that. It's placed on the wall.
He's making music.
He is making, yeah, he's making music, whether he knows it or not.
Rhythm is everywhere.
So, Secret clearing slowly as they push in from the Master, and it will, because of that slow push, cost them. Jonas gets a kill. Meepy yet again put in a clutch situation, but it's not going to happen this time. Not even close. G2 lock it out 6-3 their favor, and they take the win.
G2 still remains undefeated. Secret gets a little bit closer. 6-3 is a better result than a lot of teams get against G2. But man, as this season goes on, it just seems like it's a routine going up against G2. They just are indomitable. Led by the strong play of Fabian, but it's going to be Kanto who's going to sit atop that scoreboard overall. Finishes with 9 kills, and at the bottom, Fabian with 9, but he finishes dead last on the team. Goes to show you what points really add up to. G2 Esports, just, wow. Putting in what it might be one of the best seasons that they've ever had so far, statistically at least.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a long season to be so successful as well. The first ever of its kind going for as long as it has. And props to G2 for being able to stick with it for so long. And another win under their